Hey everyone, it's Gaz from NordSection, back with another video talking to you all about finance. Let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to the shop and for some strange reason bought a full bag of unnecessary things when you actually got there just to buy milk or a lump of bread? You get home and start unpacking and you see that you have bought some sweets that you were not planning on getting, some Gatorade, a cactus, a stool, and a new ladder just because it was on a sale. No, I'm just kidding. But what I want to say is that you got to a shop and find yourself getting more things than you were planning to get. Then you look at all of that stuff and start thinking, well, maybe I bought all of those things because I actually need all of them. But let me tell you something, that usually is not the case. Actually, you bought those things because of a few other reasons. Yes, part of that is just marketing tactics for you to buy more stuff once you are at the shop, but also some of that, and probably the biggest part of it, is just your own fault. Yes, I said it and I'm not gonna take it back, because you, my friend, have to take responsibility for it rather than just trying to make excuses for why this or that was a good purchase for you to make. More often than not, the thing you bought was just something that was based on your impulse due to a sale or just craving for it at that moment. But yes, I am not perfect and have made these same mistakes myself not that long ago. But at one point I noticed that I am not reaching some of my financial goals that I had set to myself. Thus decided to start monitoring my spendings and have them written down in the Excel file. What I eventually found out was that actually my impulsive purchases added up and created it more difficult to save up for whatever I actually needed at that time. So basically, all of that time I was shooting myself in the foot and I couldn't believe that answer was right in front of my eyes. If you don't believe me, then try not budgeting, but just writing down your whole week's purchases into a basic Excel file and see how many of those things you really needed. And I'm not talking about trying to find a reason that you bought those things for. Saying that I bought it because it was for some occasion that might happen in the distant future, or that you need it because it was on sale or that it looked good, does not count. No need for that nonsense. What I meant by saying that you need a thing is like you have to write a letter and you don't have a pen and you can't borrow it from anyone. Don't try finding a reason just to please yourself that you did a good thing by buying some dumb stuff. Try it for once and you will see that you are overspending on those type of useless things all of the time. That got me thinking, what could help me to stop making those purchases? And I set myself to find an easy and useful method that could help to make this whole process much easier. That is when I stumbled upon this thing called the 50-30-20 rule. And no, that is not some weird butt to waist ratio. Previously I already spoke about this method in this video, but decided to dedicate a separate one for it. So let's get into it. 50-30-20 rule was popularized by Elizabeth Warren, the senator of Massachusetts, a former president candidate as well. Not only is she a senator, she is also a writer. Elizabeth had published a book called All Your Worth, the Unlimited Lifetime Money Plan. This book was published back in 2005. It gained a huge popularity. Though the book itself is not as popular now, but her 50-30-20 rule is still widely applied to this day and is regularly applied by many financial advisors for better budgeting. So how does Elizabeth Warren and her 50-30-20 rule can help you? Well, let's first find out what those numbers stand for. These three numbers that I keep mentioning are basically categories: needs, wants, and financial goals. So by her rule, 50 goes to needs, 30 goes to wants, and finally 20 are the financial goals that you try to accomplish. Needs are what you absolutely can't live without, and those could include things like rent, groceries, utilities such as electricity, water, and sewer. Then the next 30% goes to wants. Wants would be what you desire but don't actually need to survive. They might include hobbies, vacations, dining out, digital and streaming services like Netflix and Hulu. You get the idea. And then the final one would be the 20% that is left for your financial goals, like all savings, such as retirement contributions, saving for a house, and setting money aside in a 529 college savings plan. That also includes debt payments. It looks pretty simple, but for most, there are just some random numbers, and most of you will not be bothered to use this method even though you are the ones that most likely need it the most. But even if you change your mind and decide to give it a shot and try it, let me try and simplify all of it for you so you could just go ahead and do it as soon as this video is over. Let's take a random round number and say that you earn $3,000 every month after taxes, and that includes your monthly deposits from your check to your 401k plan. Now keep in mind, if you are freelancing, your income will be the amount that is left after taxes and business expenses. Now most of you don't budget and don't know where your money goes, so grab your last month's bank statement and have a look where all your money goes. Categorize all your month's spendings into those three categories and have a look what amount goes where. Try to understand what things you can live without. That will help you to understand where you are overspending and why you are undersaving. Next thing to do would be to evaluate and adjust your spendings to match your 50-30-20 plan. Most of the time, we overspend on our wants, and no wonder. Those are our wants, and after all, but all of those extravagant things can wait for your goals to be accomplished first. That's why all of the fancy places you are going to a few times a week have no place in the wants category. Just cut down on them. These should still be the things that you can't live without, but not some place that you must go and take pictures for the gram because you saw Brittany in the same place 2 days ago and you haven't been there yet and don't have a picture there. This is just you wasting your money for a soon forgotten experience that will be only in the history of your hundreds other pictures that you took the same day. I understand that cutting on your wants and needs could be a challenging task to do and even more challenging to stick to it. But if you want to be where you want to be or have the things you want to have, you must stick to it. And as your financial habits change, you have to change with them as well, just as a person. Although I must say that sticking to a 50-30-20 rule is not for everyone, and most of the times it can be used like a guideline to your own rule depending on your income and goals. I would advise you to adjust accordingly. Make a 50-10-40 rule or 30-30-40 rule. It really does not matter. The hardest part will always be sticking to it and following along. The worst thing you could do is try to fool the system, because you will only be fooling yourself and making your goals harder to reach. Have a plan that suits your situation personally and the one that you feel comfortable following along. Stop spending your time and hard-earned money on the things that you don't really need. At the end of the day, no one is impressed. Only you, once you check your bank statement and see that you are overspending and slipping away from your goals. But guys, let me know, how did you adjust this method to you and how is this working out? Did it work, or if not, what went wrong? Let me know in the comments below your experience with budgeting. If this video was helpful, please press a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon to not miss a video, and I will see you in the next one.